It was supposed to be a simple overnight camping trip. 4 friends drove deep into a forest, far past the usual campsites, down a dirt road barely wide enough for their car. No signal, no lights, just trees stretching endlessly in every direction. By nightfall, everything felt off. The forest was too quiet. No insects, no wind, just silence pressing in from all sides. Around 2:13 a.m., Ahmad woke up. He didn't know why at first. Then he heard it. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Slow footsteps moving through dry leaves. He froze, listening. The sound circled their tent once, twice, 3 times. "Guys, you hear that?" he whispered. No response. The others were still asleep. Then the footsteps stopped, right next to his side of the tent. Ahmad held his breath. For a moment, there was nothing. Then, something pressed against the fabric. A hand, clear as day, 5 fingers, long, too long. It pushed in slowly, stretching the tent wall inward, as if feeling for him. Ahmad couldn't move, couldn't scream. The hand stayed there for a few seconds, twitching slightly, then dragged downward and disappeared. The footsteps resumed, calm, steady, and faded into the woods. The rest of the night passed in silence. No one slept. At sunrise, they rushed outside. "Probably just someone messing with us," one of them said, trying to laugh it off. But there were no footprints. The ground was soft, perfect for tracks. Yet nothing, no sign anyone, or anything, had been there. They began packing in silence. That's when Ahmad noticed something behind their campsite. A tall tree, about 10 feet away. "Guys, come here." On the bark, about 7 feet above the ground, was a handprint. Pressed deep into the wood. Not painted, not scratched, indented, as if something had pushed its hand into the tree hard enough to leave a mark. And it was bigger than any human hand. Much bigger. They left immediately. No one spoke during the drive back. Later that night, Ahmad checked the photos they had taken during the trip. Most were normal: campfire, trees, tents. But one picture, taken just before they went to sleep, made his blood run cold. In the background, between 2 trees, there was a figure, tall, thin, standing perfectly still, watching them, and it had been there the entire time. They didn't stop driving until they reached the main road. Even then, no one spoke. Ahmad sat in the back seat, staring at his phone, at that photo. "Zoom in," one of them finally said. He hesitated, then did. The figure wasn't just tall. It was wrong. Its arms hung too low, almost reaching its knees. Its head looked tilted at an unnatural angle. And where its face should have been, there was nothing, just darkness. "No way that's a person," someone whispered. They tried to rationalize it. A trick of light, a shadow, a tree branch, but deep down, all of them knew it wasn't. About 20 minutes later, they noticed something else. The road behind them, headlights appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. "Is someone following us?" the driver asked. "No, it's probably just turns in the road," another replied. But the road was straight. Perfectly straight. The headlights came closer, then vanished completely. Ahmad turned around to look through the rear window. Nothing. Just darkness swallowing the road. That's when the car radio turned on by itself. Static. Loud. Sharp. Piercing. "Turn it off," someone shouted. "I'm not touching it," the driver yelled back, gripping the wheel. The static shifted. For a split second, it sounded like breathing. Slow. Deep. Right inside the car. Then, a faint sound. A whistle. The same broken, uneven tone. Not from outside. From the speakers. The car engine suddenly died. Everything went silent. No lights. No radio. No movement. They were stranded. In the middle of the road. Surrounded by forest. "Start it," Ahmad said, panic rising. "I'm trying." The engine wouldn't respond. Then, something stepped onto the road ahead of them. At first, they couldn't see it clearly. Just a shape. Tall. Too tall. Standing directly in front of the car. The headlights flickered back on for a second. Just enough to reveal it. Long arms. Bent legs. And that same faceless head. Tilted. Watching them. The engine roared back to life. "Go," someone screamed. The driver slammed the accelerator. The car sped forward, straight toward the thing. At the last second, it moved. Not like a person. Not like anything natural. It didn't run. It shifted. Suddenly, instantly, vanishing into the trees. They didn't stop until they reached the nearest town. Streetlights never looked so safe. But Ahmad couldn't shake the feeling that it hadn't let them go. That night, As he lay in bed, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. A single message. You left too early. He froze. Another message came instantly. Come back. Then, a photo. It was their campsite, taken just minutes ago. In the dark, and in the center of the frame, stood that same tall figure, looking directly at the camera. Ahmad didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. That photo, it wasn't just disturbing, it was impossible. They had driven hours away from the forest. So how was something still there, taking pictures of their campsite? And more importantly, who sent it? The next morning, Ahmad called his friends. Every single one of them had received the same messages. You left too early. Come back. But one of them, Bilal, had something worse. I got a video, he said, his voice shaking. They met up immediately. Bilal played it. The footage was dark, shaky, like someone walking through the forest at night. Heavy breathing echoed in the background. Then the camera turned, and showed their tent, empty, abandoned. The timestamp, that same night, while they were still inside it. Stop it, Ahmad said, but Bilal kept watching. In the video, the camera slowly moved closer to the tent. Closer, closer. Then suddenly, it cut. That's when Bilal froze. Wait. Go back, Ahmad said. He rewound the clip, frame by frame, and there it was. For just 1 second, inside the tent, 4 shapes, sitting perfectly still, not moving, not breathing, not them. Silence filled the room. No, that's not possible, someone whispered. But deep down, they all felt it. Something had been with them. Inside the tent, the whole time. That night, Ahmad locked every door and window in his house. He kept the lights on. Phone in his hand, heart racing. At exactly 2:13 a.m., his phone buzzed again. Unknown number. A new message. We're closer now. Then came a sound. A soft, slow, tap, tap, tap. From his window, Ahmad turned his head slowly. The curtain moved slightly, as if something brushed against it from outside. He forced himself to stand. Step by step, he approached the window. The tapping stopped. He reached out, and pulled the curtain aside. Nothing, just darkness. He let out a breath. Then his phone buzzed again. Another message. Wrong side. Ahmad's blood ran cold, because the tapping started again. This time, behind him, from inside his room. Tap, tap, tap. He turned slowly toward the sound. His bedroom door was slightly open, and in the gap between the darkness, something tall was standing there, unmoving, watching. The last message appeared on his phone. You never left. The next morning, Ahmad's house was empty. No signs of struggle, no broken locks, nothing missing, except him. A week later, hikers returned to that same forest. They found an old campsite, abandoned, rotting, as if it had been there for years. And inside the torn remains of a tent, were 4 figures, sitting perfectly still, facing the entrance, waiting. No one could identify them, because their faces were gone. The story should have ended there. It didn't. News of the discovery spread quietly. Not on major channels, not publicly, but in local reports, forums, whispers. 4 unidentified bodies found in a forest. No faces, no fingerprints, no records, just there, sitting in a circle inside a collapsed tent. Authorities closed off the area. No entry, no explanation. Anyone who asked too many questions got the same response. Wildlife incident. But the officers who actually went there told a different story. One of them reportedly quit just 2 days later. He told a colleague something he wasn't supposed to say. They weren't dead the way you think. Because when they found the bodies, they were warm, not alive, but not cold either, like something had just left them. Even stranger, there were no footprints leading to or from the campsite, except one set, deep, long strides, circling the tent over and over again. Just like that night. Days later, Ahmad's phone was recovered. It was found near the site, half buried in dirt, still working, still charged. The investigators opened it. There were hundreds of messages, all from the same unknown number, all unread, all saying the same thing. Stay, over and over again. But that wasn't the worst part. There was a final video, recorded after Ahmad disappeared. No one knows who filmed it. The footage begins in total darkness. Then slowly, light appears. A flashlight turning on. Whoever is holding it is breathing heavily. Walking through the forest. The camera stops, points forward, and reveals the campsite, but it's not empty. 4 figures sit inside the tent, completely still, facing the entrance, exactly as they were found. Then the camera slowly moves closer. Closer, closer, until one of the figures suddenly twitches. Just slightly. The flashlight shakes. The breathing gets louder. Panicked. Then, one of the figures lifts its head. Too fast, too sharp, and even without a face, it somehow looks directly into the camera. The video glitches. Static fills the screen. For a split second, another shape appears behind the camera. Tall, watching. Then the footage cuts. The case was sealed. No further investigation. No public report. But sometimes, late at night, people claim they receive messages from unknown numbers. No caller ID. No trace. Just one sentence. You stayed. And if they reply, even once, they start hearing it. That same slow, deliberate sound. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Circling them, closer every night, because the forest doesn't just take people. They weren't the first, and they won't be the last. Months after the case was buried, an independent researcher, someone obsessed with unexplained disappearances, started connecting patterns. Forests, remote areas, people vanishing without a trace. And one detail that kept appearing in old reports. Strange symbols carved into trees. He tracked the pattern back decades. Then centuries. Different countries. Different forests. Same markings. Same stories. Eventually, his search led him to a forgotten cabin deep in the woods, far from any marked trail. Inside, everything was covered in dust. Rotting furniture. Broken windows. And on a small wooden table, a journal. The pages were filled with sketches. Tall figures, long arms, faceless heads, watching from between trees. One page stood out, a message, written in shaky handwriting. It does not hunt you. It waits for you to notice it. The researcher kept reading. The entries became more frantic, more desperate. It learns your voice. It learns your shape. It replaces you slowly. Then, near the end of the journal, there are not many of them. There is only one. The last few pages explained everything, or at least, as much as anyone ever understood. The thing in the woods. It doesn't chase. It doesn't attack. It doesn't need to. It watches. For days. For weeks. Sometimes longer. It studies you. The way you walk. The way you speak. The way you breathe. And when you finally notice it. When you feel that something is wrong. When you hear the footsteps. The whistling. The voice calling your name. That's when it knows. You're ready. Because noticing it is the first step. After that, it gets closer. Not physically, but personally. It enters your space, your camp, your home, your mind, until one night, you hear something behind you, inside your room, and by the time you turn around, it already knows how to be you. The researcher's notes ended with one final entry. If you're reading this, it has already seen you. The journal dropped from his hands. Because behind him, in the reflection of a broken mirror, something stood in the doorway, perfectly still. Smiling, without a face. His body was never found. But sometimes, in deep forests, hikers report seeing someone standing between the trees, watching them, not moving, and if they wave, it waves back, a second too late.